From Desire to System, Part 3, a XiaoWellness media production. Intro from Desire to System is a reflection of transformation. How silent struggle evolved into structure through movement, journaling, and learning to approach trading as a calm, repeatable process. Disclaimer: this journal documents my personal business journey and creative process. It is shared for storytelling purposes only and should not be taken as financial, legal, or tax advice. Please consult licensed professionals before making business or investment decisions. Everything you see here began long before this moment. What you witness now is a part 3 of a journey, the continuation of a system I've been building piece by piece. In part 1, I started with only an idea, a desire to understand, to rebuild from silence, to take something uncertain and give it structure. That's where the foundation began. Paperwork, patience, and decision to turn my curiosity about trading into something organized, to treat it with the same seriousness as any other business. I built this because I no longer wanted to feel powerless around money. I wanted to understand how it moved, to learn discipline instead of prediction, to build a process that could teach me trust. What began as a trading plan slowly became something deeper, a framework for self-belief, a way to rebuild confidence through structured awareness. In part 2, I learned that structure doesn't move fast. It refines itself through waiting. I practiced consistency when nothing seemed to be happening and found rhythm in the quiet details. Those months taught me that calm is an action, and discipline is the quiet proof of belief. In part 3, the system I imagine begins to breathe. This is where structure turns into operation, the threshold between planning and presence. There's a moment when preparation ends and trading begins. For me, it was the day I funded the account, not just as an individual, but through the structure I built from the ground up. That single transfer wasn't just money moving. It was belief turning into form. Every document, every log, every patient month of waiting, all of it led to this quiet click. My first trade inside this new structure wasn't about profit. It was about proof. Proof that self-belief is the foundation of anything you build through deliberate action each day. I followed the same rules I've practiced for the past 4 months, the same system that taught me patience, one contract at a time. These are my rules, not recommendations, just the boundaries that help me build calm where chaos used to live. If you're watching this for the first time, I encourage you to go back to part 1 and part 2. You'll see how each step built the foundation for this moment, how belief became structure, and how that structure grew into the rhythm I operate within today. And if you've been here since the beginning, you already know this is what we've been waiting for. The moment the system begins to live on its own. Calm confidence isn't gifted, it's built, one deliberate step at a time. This is how I built an operational system, a rhythm born from belief, one quiet decision at a time. What started as a search for understanding has become a way of being. The structure is alive, and the next step is learning how to live through it with purpose, to trade, create, and grow from within the system itself. The operator's routine, rhythm and motion. Every morning begins the same way. After I send my daughter to school, I come back home and move. Sometimes it's a workout, sometimes it's yoga, but it's always deliberate. That's my community work, the energy I put back into the world, the way I remind myself that discipline isn't just for trading, it's for life. Movement prepares my body, but meditation refocuses my mind. That part is for me. 10 minutes of stillness, eyes closed, breath steady. It clears the noise before I ever open a chart. When I open my eyes, I'm not chasing the market. I'm meeting it, calm, clear, ready. After meditation, I make my tea. It's a small act, but it marks a shift from stillness to structure. As the kettle hums, I glance at the watch list. I'm not looking for excitement. I'm looking for alignment. Which of my setups are still in rhythm? Which positions deserve attention today? This moment is quiet. Just me, my list, and my rules. When the market opens, I don't rush in. I follow my rhythm. First, I review my open positions. Take profit if it's there, close if it's time, and only then do I consider a new entry. But only if every rule aligns. If even one condition is off, I don't trade. That's the discipline. That's the system breathing through me. Most of my day's work happens in those first 10 minutes. The decisions, the clarity, the patience. After that, it's about observation, not activity. Once the decisions are made, I turn to my journal. I write down what I did, why I did it, and what I learned from it. I know what went smoothly, what could be sharper, and where my mindset drifted. I've written down those moments that cost me capital, because that tuition is paid with each trade and each lesson. Sometimes the hardest thing to write is a sentence that begins with honesty. But that's where growth lives, in the willingness to record what I didn't want to see. These pages don't judge me, they train me. They remind me that calm is a skill I practice, not a state I happen to feel. Each line becomes a mirror, not to my mistakes, but to my progress. Every honest entry is another brick in the foundation of self-trust. This is how I refine, not by reacting, but by reviewing. Each line in that log is a proof of process. It's how I hold myself accountable, not to results, but to rhythm. Reflection is where the operator becomes a student again. It's how belief stays alive inside the system. This is my morning. It doesn't look complicated, but it's everything. Movement for the body, meditation for the mind, tea for the transition. Then the market, approached, not chased. 10 minutes of clarity that set the tone for the day, followed by the quiet work of reflection and review. That's what it means to operate with rhythm. Calm doesn't happen by chance. It's created one mindful action at a time. And that's the real system I built on paper, now moving quietly through my day. This recording documents my personal process of self-study and reflection within my own trading system. It is shared for journaling and educational purpose only, not as financial, legal, or investment advice. The business loop is the point where structure becomes operation. It's when all the systems built over the past few months begin to run on rhythm instead of effort. Operation on a new platform always comes with a few setbacks at first. The layout is different. Tools move, reports look new, and it takes time to feel at home again. But that's part of growth. Each adjustment teaches awareness, precision, and patience. Learning the new flow is proof that the system is alive and adapting. Every day, each trade is logged the same day it's made. Each week ends with a review of open positions, performance, and notes. Monthly P&L summary and win rate review and reflection on what strengthened rhythm. This repetition, document, review, refine, is how the business breathes. The more it repeats, the more it runs naturally, without the need for constant motivation or control. We're now in the expansion phase of the journey. The first few months were about setup, forming the LLC, organizing accounts, building structure, and testing consistency. Now the focus turns to operating within that framework and refining the systems that sustain it. The same structure that manages trading now connects to financial management, documentation, and long-term planning under one business identity. It's no longer just about placing trades, it's about running the entire process with calm professionalism. The goal isn't complexity, it's coherence. Everything, trading, journaling, funding, reviewing, moves together as one smooth loop. The daily work creates the evidence. The data confirms the rhythm. The documentation shows maturity. The system runs itself now, steady, calm, operational. But the mission doesn't end here. It evolves. It began long before the company, before the charts, the filings, the structure. It began with a kid who grew up without a roadmap, no mentor to mirror, no blueprint to follow. Only the quiet question, what if I could build what I never had? That question became the reason. That reason became the system. I built it to prove that discipline can be learned, that freedom grows from order, and that belief, once clear, can move mountains. Now the purpose is to pass it forward, to ensure my daughter never has to start from silence. She will see from the beginning that limitation is self-imposed, that focus creates progress, and that patience builds doors where none existed. I want her to witness example, not perfection. To know mistakes are teachers, not verdicts. To understand that structure isn't control, but clarity. A small learning account now waits for her, linked to the same rhythm that built this business. For now, she observes how I track, how I reflect, how calm creates momentum. In time, she'll write her own notes, place her own trades, and one day she'll take her seat beside me, not just as my daughter, but a builder of her own belief. That's the real mission, to turn experience into guidance and structure into legacy. Because anyone, no matter where they begin, can rise beyond the limits they once believed. I want her to see that proof and carry it forward until it becomes part of who she is. To inspire others to build clarity through structure, transforming curiosity into discipline, documentation into growth, and trading into a lifelong practice of self-trust. And the system stands on its own now, calm, measured, alive. But even as it runs, I still look back. Every structure that exists today began as a lesson, sometimes learned the hard way. And if I could speak to that earlier version of myself, the one still searching for direction, every mistake, every delay, every no was part of the design. This is what I would tell my younger self. The same message I now share with anyone beginning their own path. A few truths written through practice, not theory. Each one a quiet checkpoint between patience, progress, and belief. Focus on quality. Think like an owner. Quality builds calm. Systems rooted in ownership mindset teach patience and accountability. When you operate from the belief that your choices represent lasting value, not just short-term movement, you begin to act like a business owner, not a speculator. The deeper lesson is to trust quality over quantity, structure over excitement. Enter from structure, not emotion. Location defines discipline. Whether in markets or daily decisions, acting from alignment instead of impulse protects clarity. Patience to wait for confirmation. Technical, emotional, or structural, keep your rhythm steady. The entry point is never a price. It's a state of mind, calm, deliberate, rule-aligned. Let conditions work for you. Timing is structure. You can't control direction, but you can control preparation. Learning to recognize when conditions favor your structure transforms guessing into grounded action. Patience becomes your prophet. It's not about chasing reward, but allowing readiness to meet opportunity. 1 page, 1 lesson, record everything. Documentation turns repetition into wisdom. Each log, note, and reflection is evidence of growth. A mirror showing how awareness evolves through practice. Without records, emotion writes the story. With them, discipline speaks. Review transforms data into insight, proof that your system is alive and learning with you. Process over outcome. Calm is the real edge. The true edge is composure. Markets change, emotion fluctuates, process endures. When decisions come from structure instead of reaction, you replace anxiety with awareness. Outcomes stop defining you. Rhythm does. That's when a practice becomes a system, and a system becomes peace. This chapter closed with proof, not promise. The system stands tested. It no longer relies on motivation or momentum. It moves with rhythm, steady, measurable, alive. Structure endures where emotion fades, and discipline carries through every season. What began as learning has become language. What started as effort now flows with ease. And still, the story continues. Part 4 begins, the growth phase, where rhythm meets expansion and the system keeps evolving in real time. Copyright 2025, XiaoWellness Media. For personal reflection and documentation only, not financial, legal, or investment advice.